Happy full moon in Capricorn, all. The full moon will be on Sunday, July 21st, depending on when you're listening to this. And today I'm going to unpack the energy around that full moon and then look at the energy for the rest of the lunar cycle. Spoiler alert, I think after we get through this full moon, the rest of the month should calm down a little bit. Well, fingers crossed. Um, Hopefully that will be the case for you. The energy definitely is less volatile after we get through maybe midweek next week. So so let's bank on that. If you are interested in finding out specifically how this energy hits your chart, I did record um, some rising sign horoscopes with tarot readings for you, and I did it with the new moon. So I'll link those in the comments below if you want to go back and look specifically at how this shows up in your chart. In the meantime, if you are new to this channel, my name is Lisa Merrifield. I'm with Trails Edge Astrology. I am a psychological natal astrologer, which means that my greatest joy is to help people find their paths and make their magic. So, with that, let's talk about. Well, let me do one other thing before we get into the new moon. If you find something in here that appeals to you, that speaks to you, I would greatly appreciate it if you would like this video, if you would subscribe to my channel, if you would share this, if you would comment, let me know what you think. It's nice to know that you're out there, and it helps people find my channel, helps me share my message. And yeah, and lets me know you're there. So if that is something you're willing to do, I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Thank you. All right, now let's move on and talk about this new moon in Capricorn. So this is technically a blue moon. Blue moons occur when we have two full moons in the same sign. So we had a full moon in Capricorn back on June 21st, just in the very beginning degrees of Capricorn. And this full moon is occurring at the 29th degree of Capricorn. So not totally, totally rare, but kind of unusual, kind of nice. And worth note. Sometimes you'll hear in the lay media that we have a blue moon when there's two full moons in the same month. But just so you know that astrologically, it's two full moons in the same sign, or four full moons in four full moons between a solstice and an equinox in a 3-month period is a blue moon. Anyway, should that be of interest, now you have that in your head. So a full moon in Capricorn is always about themes of things like work-life balance, or inner growth and outer growth, or public life and private life. It's that duality between, our most personal and our most public. And full moons illuminate some theme about that, depending on where the Capricorn and Cancer pieces are in your chart. So so that's always the kind of thing we will deal with when we come to Cancer season and we have a Capricorn full moon. This full moon in particular is interesting because it is within a degree of Pluto. And as you probably know, Pluto has been dancing back and forth between Aquarius and Capricorn since early 2023. And right now it is sitting at 0 degrees of Aquarius. The full moon is at 29 degrees of Capricorn, so right in there. And so I would expect, because full moons illuminate things, and because Pluto is right there, I would expect that we might have a light shined on something that maybe has been a secret, or we might have some revelations that are a little uncomfortable for either us or people around us, depending on how it all lands in our charts. There might be some illumination of power structures or inequities that that Pluto is trying to help us fix. Being that Pluto is just on the verge of going back into Capricorn, we might even see some of the themes that have come up for you when Pluto was in Capricorn. Some of those like structural reform kinds of pieces might show themselves. So I think the Pluto in the full moon co-present with Pluto is going to add some depth to this full moon. So we will see things that perhaps we wouldn't see with a typical Capricorn um, full moon. So look for those. Think about how you want to work with it. Um, you know, Pluto is in Aquarius for the next 20 years. We have one more stint with Pluto and Capricorn between, I think, September and November. So one more little stretch of sky in that space, but otherwise, and then we move back into Aquarius and we do this Pluto and Aquarius work for the next 20 years. So, I'm interested to see what comes up, what shows up during this full moon with that co-presence with Pluto. So another thing that is happening that I think will illuminate things and put some pieces together for us during this full moon is we have a Mercury-Uranus square during this time. So Mars and Uranus just met in Taurus on Monday, and that touched back to the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus that was in April. And so we're having these small touch points where we are refining and kind of putting the pieces together on what this new journey looks like. So the energy in April with the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction started a new 14-year cycle. It was a seeding moment. And the Mars-Uranus conjunction in Taurus is a 2-year cycle. They will not meet in Taurus again in our lifetimes because Uranus won't be back in Taurus. So there's again some culminating, some putting something forward, some seeding moment has came in April, came on Monday, and then with this full moon, Mercury is going to square Uranus. So we have this Plutonian work going on, but then we also have this touch point with Uranus, which brings liberation and releases tension. And being that it's squaring Mercury, that could happen through words or ideas. So I wonder, at if something will be illuminated, words will be spoken. I think all of it is moving us forward into the next chapter in our lives. But I think it could continue to be intense around this full moon, around like the first part of the week, as we put pieces together. So we have the Plutonian work with this full moon. We have this Uranian work with this full moon, and Mars is in on the action as well. So Mars on Saturday will move into Gemini. And so Mars has been in Taurus, and Mars in Taurus is a bulldozer. It's slow and steady, and it's moving the earth. Mars in Gemini goes into our head. And so it moves our ideas and our conversation. And sometimes Mars in Gemini can be a little hot-headed. Mars is about enacting our will in the world. And in Gemini, it does it through verbal expression. And so that is going to be a shift in and of itself. Not good or bad. It just is. But it's a shift in and of itself. And then as Mars moves into Gemini, it's going to trine Pluto. So it's going to trine this full moon. And trines are harmonious aspects. They let things flow smoothly. So I think this could give us some courage maybe to see the thing that Pluto needs us to see, or hear the thing that it needs to be heard, or speak the thing that needs to be spoken. So I think this could give us some courage. I do want to caution that sometimes Mars can move quickly, and Gemini is a sign that moves quickly. And so if you are if you are activated by some kind of something that has come up for you, um, I recommend that you take some deep breaths. You pause a little bit before you open a door that maybe you can't ever close again. So you, just look before you leap, I guess is all I'm saying. Um, Very likely that Mars trine Pluto and the moon could let us take some action on whatever it is we see in a positive way. And I want to make sure you do that. And so just think about what your highest purpose is and what your goal is before you say or act on information in a way that doesn't meet your highest goals and needs. So so that is all of the energy on Sunday. So we've got the full moon co-present with Pluto. We've got a Mercury Uranus square and then a trine from Mars. So lots of energy around this full moon. I'm curious how it's going to show up. I really think we are putting building blocks in place for whatever this next chapter is. We've had so many major transits in the last few years that we're just seeing the very beginning of it. So I'm always excited to see how it comes together for people. Um, so the day after the new moon, or I'm sorry, the day after the full moon, the sun moves into Leo. And Leo is the heart-centered leader. The sun has been in Cancer, where we're feeling nurturing. We're very lunar, so we're feeling our emotions, we're feeling our feelings, we're feeling the desire for home and family, and all those kinds of things are the Cancer signatures. When the sun moves into Leo, we really step into our heart center and into our intuitive creativity and into our individuation. And so the sun on the 22nd moves into Leo and then immediately opposes Pluto. So again, we're triggering that Pluto in Aquarius energy. And so this is the third time a planet has opposed Pluto. So the third time we've looked at this Leo Aquarius axis while Pluto is in that space. So that's the first time that's happened for us. So Mercury opposed Pluto, Venus opposed Pluto, and now the sun is opposing Pluto. And so, I wonder if this isn't a chance to continue to illuminate whatever it is we're working on in that part of our chart. And we might not know yet. Pluto's going to be in Aquarius for 20 years. It's going to hop back into Capricorn between about September and November of next year. Or I'm sorry, September and November of this year. And then it's going to be in Aquarius for 20 years. So we may not be putting all this together yet, but there's some groundwork being laid, and the sun opposite Pluto might be giving us a chance to observe that. Oppositions, the planets are as far apart as they possibly can be. So sometimes it can feel like a standoff, or sometimes it can feel like, or not just feel like, sometimes you can project something on somebody else. When we have planets in opposition to each other. Ultimately, the goal of an opposition is to learn to work with both energies at the same time. And so I think we'll have a long time of these kind of transits to learn to work with that. But that's right after the full moon. So again, early next week, I think we're really going to get into and dig into that Plutonian space, that what are we doing in Aquarius with Pluto over the next 20 years? So then I think we settle out a little bit. That energy happens. And then the next thing that I think is of really great significance is Mercury moving into Virgo. Mercury is in rulership and exaltation in Virgo. So it's really happy there. And Mercury is going to go retrograde at the beginning of August. So it's not necessarily speeding right along. Mercury will be retrograde between about 6 degrees of Virgo, and it will go back to, I think, 21 degrees of Leo. So if you have any planets in that part of the sky or in any of the other fixed signs, so Taurus, Scorpio, or Aquarius, between about 21 and the ending degrees, 21 and 30 degrees, or the beginning pieces of mutable signs. Those are Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, and Gemini, Virgo. Oh my goodness. Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, and Sagittarius. Goodness gracious. So the beginning degrees of those signs. This Mercury retrograde might be of some impact to you. We'll talk about that as it gets a little bit closer, but just food for thought. On the 25th, Mercury goes into Virgo, but moving really slowly, and yeah, preparing for that retrograde. And then on August 2nd, Venus squares Uranus. So during the full moon, Mercury squared Uranus. And then on the 2nd, Venus will square Uranus. So it's second touch point. The sun will then go on to square Uranus. And again, illuminating that energy around that Mars-Uranus conjunction, that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. When Venus squares Uranus, we might be called to revisit how we spend our time, treasures, and talents. Venus is what we love and who we love, and when it squares Uranus, it's asking for some kind of liberating energy around that. It could also be creativity, something like that. So that is how we end this lunar cycle. And then on August 4th, we will be back with the full moon in Leo, and I will do more tarot and astrology horoscopes for you for that. So look for those coming up. So yeah, I'm curious how this energy shows up for you. If you let me know, I would appreciate it. And I think I said at the beginning, I have tarot and astrology horoscopes for each of the rising signs. So I'll link those in the comments so that you can find that if you want to see how this energy is showing up specifically for you. Feel free to do that. And I hope you will like, subscribe, follow, comment, share, all those good things so that I can help get my message out and share my thoughts on the beautiful astrology that is happening for us right now. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have enjoyed this, and I look forward to having you back here soon. Bye.